Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the planet. My name is Miriam Cunha, and I welcome you to my channel. Let me look at the camera because then I'm looking at you. So I welcome you to my channel where we talk about metaphysical things, occult things, esoteric, mystic, mysterious things that help us navigate through this learning journey we are going through together on this planet, together but individually. So first of all, I would like to thank a friend of mine, Joan, for sending me an email this week that I apologize I didn't have time to answer you the email, but it was very much appreciated, which actually led to the subject of this video tonight, because she actually sent me this information that I'm going to share with you, but I want to expand on this subject because I have studied theosophy on my early 20s, and I have a background on reading a lot of Alice Bailey and Elena Blavatsky, and also Rudolf Steiner, who was known as one of the big, let's see, occult philosophers, author of many books. I better read his biography because I'm not very good at remembering all of these titles. And I have here a page where I'm going to read his biography because it's better than trying to remember all of these things that he is known for. Oh, where is it? Don't tell me that yeah, here it is. Here it is. This is his biography on Amazon.com. About Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner was born on February 27, 1861. Pay attention on that date. And he lived on this incarnation as Rudolf Steiner until March 30, 1925. We move this window more to the center so I actually keep looking at you. All right. So he was born in a small village known as Krakchevek in Austria, and that was actually, yeah, he was there during the First World War, according to my understanding of history. And he died in Switzerland in 1925. So while in university, he contrasted on mathematics. He concentrated on mathematics, physics, chemistry. Having written his thesis on philosophy, Steiner earned his doctorate and was later drawn into literature and scholarly circles, and participated in the rich social and political life of Vienna at that time. So during the 1890s, Steiner worked for 7 years in Weimar at the Goethe Archive. And Goethe, it's something very interesting if you want to research about. It spells Goethe. So he worked for 7 years in Weimar at the Goethe Archive, meaning he had access to all that knowledge, and where he edited Goethe's scientific works and collaborated in a complete edition of, I don't know if I can say that name, Schopenhauer's work. And Weimar was a center of the European culture at that time, which allowed Steiner to meet many prominent artists and cultural figures. In 1894, Steiner published his first important work, which was titled Intuitive Thinking as a Spiritual Path, A Philosophy of Freedom, now published as one of the classics in anthroposophy. So his biography goes on and on. He accomplished different things in subjects like philosophy and esoterics and education. He was actually the one who inspired the nowadays Waldorf schools, the system that educates human beings at an early age as actually individual human beings, and it differs enormously from the system of education that we have spread in the world. And many parents actually that have an open mind decide to put their children in a Waldorf school, a Waldorf education system. And there is one here in town in Kelowna too that I know. And it is a very, how would I say, it's different from the education where students have to memorize what they are told to actually all repeat the same thing. So Rudolf was in the belief, and I believe he is right, that the children, as they grow up, they have the potential to find in their individuality the exploration of new ideas and be creative. And so the system of the Waldorf schools actually allow for children more freedom to explore who they are and to explore their creativity and their intelligence and their knowledge. So it is a very interesting system of education. And if you have children at a young age, I suggest that you explore the idea of putting your children on a Waldorf system of education, because it is awesome. And if not possible, wherever you are, you can always engage on teaching your children to be creative, free thinkers, and to grow into this atmosphere of allowance to the exploration of who they truly are, right? Because that's one of the things that Rudolf Steiner was debating a lot with science already at the time, because science has adopted a very strong idea that who we are either animals or machines, very advanced machines, or an advanced type of animal, right? But for Steiner, humans actually have an individuality, and are composed of not only a physical body, but a consciousness and a soul. And that is what I believe too. And it's something that I think that if people don't explore and don't understand, will keep them always in the prison of following and repeating what they're told by a system that is ruled by a hierarchy of a few people on top of the pyramid, if you understand what I mean. And you probably have, oops, sorry about that. I shouldn't have put that here. Okay, there you go. I just wanted to check if anybody has said anything. If you have any questions, any comments, you are most welcome to type them on the chat, and we can discuss about this. But what my friend Joan actually sent me was some information, rediscovery or discovery or matching of a piece of a puzzle, however you want to take it, that someone actually understood, no, that's not the word. Someone remembered that Rudolf Steiner, as a medium and a visionary and an occult science disciple and initiated, he had visions of the future. And remember that I always say that time is not linear, it's a spiral. Everything is happening at the same time. So it is possible for us to actually foresee things that might happen and things that might not happen. The reason why some things might or might not happen, it depends on different factors. I don't want to discuss right now about this because I want to I want to talk more about what he actually saw at that time. So this person here at this moment on time that we are all going through this, let's say, pandemic idea, this person remembered that he had a vision back in the end of the 1800s. I don't know exactly what year he actually had that vision, but what he said, and that's another thing I am going to read for you, because, just a moment, I'm going to read it because I don't want to miss a word. And then we'll discuss what he said. Okay, so these are two quotes of something he wrote about something he saw. And he wrote that 100 years ago. 100 years ago in the spiral of time. Okay, so this is what he wrote. In the future from where he was 100 years ago, the soul will be eliminated by medicine. Only this first phrase, it's impressively deep. He said 100 years ago, in the future, the soul, not the body, the soul will be eliminated by medicine. Medicine. So he continues, on the pretense of health, there will be a vaccine. I'll repeat it. There will be a vaccine whereby the human organism will be treated as soon as possible, possibly directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the awareness of the soul and the spirit. And then he continues. Materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of removing the soul from humanity. I'm going to pause here. It sounds far-fetched to say something like that to the eyes of materialistic people who 100% trust themselves to the system they are told to believe. But if you stop to think by yourself, if you allow your individual self to explore ideas and understand the different pieces of the puzzle of what we are experiencing, you will realize that is not far-fetched. So I'm going to repeat that phrase again. Materialistic doctors will be entrusted with the task of removing the soul from humanity. Like today, people are vaccinated. I'll repeat it. vaccinated against specific diseases. So in the future, children will be, from now on, I'm going to refer to that word as V, okay? So in the future, children will be V with a substance that will immunize against the madness of spiritual life, period. The V person could be very clever, meaning that the thing will not take the intelligence of people, the intellectual intelligence of people, but would not develop a conscious that, and that's the real goal of some materialistic circles, period. I'm going to make a pause here. If you stop to think on his words, on his vision of the future, which is now, it's happening now, you know it's happening now, you cannot deny this is happening right now, you realize that those creatures who are behind the scenes running the system have been planning this for a long, 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 long time. First, because they manage the power of time. Second, they have imprisoned us on the idea of a linear time and a calendar that is crooked, that took us away from nature. And third, because they feed out of our sicknesses, because as a sick being, you suffer, you are sad, you are angry, you are mad, and all of this frequency energies are what they feed off. They're not in a hurry because time for them, it's not the crooked time we are in this prison. So they have been planning this for a long, long, long time. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that we have to just subject ourselves to a crooked outcome, because beyond all of this planning, there is free will, which is a highly respected universal law. Free will. No human being, individual soul on this planet is being obligated to fall into this trap we're going through right now. Everyone that has been falling has been doing that through their own will, even if they are being tricked to believe, to be in fear, and to think that taking this V thing will free them to go back to the normal life they were used to. Okay, let's continue with what he said here. Last paragraph of that vision he had, which with such a V. Remember, I am not saying the word because it's censored, so I'm calling it V. Which such a V, you could get the etheric body to detach from the physical body. You can get the etheric body, etheric body, our energy body, detached from the physical body. When the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the soul and the universe becomes extremely unstable, and an automated, a machine, a manipulated machine, a zombie, because the physical body of man must be polished on this earth and by will and by spiritual effort. Will and spiritual effort. So the V thing becomes a kind of force that rivets consciousness to matter. In other words, imprisons us in this dense experience for another long period of time. Continuing, men can no longer get rid of materialistic feeling. It remains animal by constitution and can no longer rise to spiritual conscious. And then there is another paragraph that he wrote about the same vision, and it reads like that. I have told you that spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human hosts, in whom they will be dwelling, to find a vaccine that will drive, I said the word, all inclination toward spirituality out of people's souls when they are still very young. And this will happen in a roundabout way through the living body. I'm going to read that again because I said the word and I kind of got out of the written. So I'm going to read it again. I have told you that spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human hosts, in whom they will be dwelling, to find a V thing that will drive all inclination toward spirituality out of people's souls when they are still very young. And this will happen in a roundabout way through the living body. Today, bodies are vaccinated. Today, bodies are vaxxed against one thing and another. In the future, children will be vaxxed with a substance which it will certainly be possible to produce, and this will make them immune so that they do not develop foolish inclinations connected with spiritual life. Foolish here, of course, in the eyes of materialists. He saw in the future, our present. In the loop of time he connected, he saw what these creatures were planning and what they're putting in place. And what I can tell you is that this is not mandated to humanity because of the big universal law of free will that needs to be respected by every being in this universe. So these beings that know that, they try to trick humans into believing that they need to subject their physical bodies to this V thing they developed. And there are people here that are saying this is being done because of a population control. It's part of it, but the main thing is what Rudolf Steiner said and saw. It's the disconnection of human beings from their spiritual selves. Because when we forget who we truly are, we subject ourselves as slaves of a system, believing that we need the system to take care of us and that we are not capable to take care of ourselves because we're nothing but physical bodies wandering in a world of danger and disease. And that's what this planned system created with this pandemic. And I know it is very hard for a huge majority of humans to understand that, since we have been programmed very deeply since we're born. But it's not impossible to wake up, especially now that we are in synchronicity with the light codes coming directly from the central sun of the galaxy, which is a hierarchy of light much, much, much above all of these horrible plans these creatures have been creating here. They cannot defeat that moment, but they will do everything that is possible to make it more difficult. And that's what they're doing. And unfortunately, many human beings are falling for that. I have been avoiding to be so blatant about this on my videos, but I think it is time now. And I know there is a lot of censorship. Maybe this video will not last for too long here. I don't know. But it is time to come very clear about that after what I was sent by my friend John. This email was like, holy smokes, we need to talk about this, because it is one of the most important decisions we are making to ourselves as an individual consciousness incarnated on this body, to allow or not allow this intrusive V thing they created to act on a deep level of change, to disconnect what already has been disconnected, or maybe to avoid the reconnection, because what we're going through right now with this light codes coming from the central sun of the galaxy, the Schumann resonance ripping our consciousness, what we're going through, this big awakening, what they're trying to do is to avoid the reconnection, to avoid us to remember who we really are, to avoid our human species to understand how powerful we are, to understand that the system that has been created has been nothing but an illusion, has been nothing but a cane that we've been told that we need in order to be able to walk, when actually we have two legs and a physical body to walk by ourselves. We don't need the cane, we don't need the walker, we don't need the whatever thing they created to keep both sides of our brain. And actually, if you want to know more about the both sides of the brain division, watch one of my latest videos. I think it was last week or the previous week that I talked about that, because this is what has been happening. The reason why we cannot see more clearly who we are, and science actually puts it, it's almost impossible to know who we are, where do we come from, and it's not, it's just that they want it to be like that. They don't want humans to remember who they are. It's like a soap opera that a family adopted this child and spends the whole soap opera trying to hide from the child that is not the real child, that he was adopted. Something like that. I'm just correlating the situation to a soap opera because it's a big drama. It's like, you're nothing but a physical body. You have no consciousness, you have no will, you have no way to protect yourself alone. You have to depend on everything we're giving you, because we are your protectors. So take this and you will feel safe. You will feel protected. because there are so many threats. Stop breathing. There is a threat in the air. Stop breathing. I'm sorry if I have to talk like that, but it's just, you know, it's and some of you you can hear me. You can hear, you know, I know some of you understand deeply what I'm saying. And if you want to share with somebody you think it can, it will maybe understand now. It's not too late yet, right? And I have a friend who is actually working. I'm not going to mention who she is, but she is working on a ritual to override the effects of that V thing in case it is absolutely mandated in order for us to do things. So it is a possibility, but I don't know if at this point the test really is about our decision to submit ourselves to that because we're in fear that we cannot do this or that inside the crooked system. So I think we're being tested. This is the ultimate test. And many religions have talked about that. It reminds me of the historical moment when Christians were persecuted by Romans and were thrown to the lions, but they resisted in their faith. So I see lots of people resisting in their faith and not succumbing to fear. Brave souls, even if the idea of what happened during Christ's time, a period of history, was true or not, independent on that, the decision as human beings, as spiritual human beings incarnated in a physical body right now, it's the most important decision we could have ever made in our lives, is to say yes or no to that thing they want to make people believe they need to take in order to take the world back to whatever they call normal. And you got to question yourself as well. Do you really want to go back to normal? What is normal? Is a system, a crooked system? A crooked system that has, John, you're never too late. You can watch back. And I actually was mentioning you from the beginning, and I say thank you very much for the email you sent me this week, because it is the subject of this video tonight. And I have been avoiding being so blatant about this subject, but we have arrived at a very crucial moment of our spiritual lives to have to make a decision of accepting or not accepting this so-called safe chemical intrusion in our physical bodies. You're most welcome, my dear Robert, and I am very thankful that your soul is awakened. And that's it. I think I've said a lot of things. Do you have any comments, any questions? Let me know right now. I think we should do a meditation to raise our vibes, because this subject is very dense is the most important decision we are making at the moment as human beings in this planet. The planet itself, let me remind you, as a being itself, it's evolving. So the beings that decide to fall into the old system will not inhabit this planet anymore. We are going to have to detach from a lot of people. We might go visit them wherever they get imprisoned. It will be a planet similar to what Earth has been until now, but it will not be here because the planet itself is evolving. And that's why we talk about a new Earth, because the planet itself, it's evolving as a spiritual planet and is not going to be vibrating on the same frequencies of the old model of the normal that a lot of people want to go back to. So we got out of that normal life, which is very interesting because we were ejected out of normality where we couldn't go to the places we were used to. We couldn't get entertained by the things we were used to. Even the movies and the soap operas stopped being produced. We were forced to look inside of ourselves. And it's been over a year now. Many people have woken up, but many people are craving to go back to that normal they were before. We were all before. That normal was a crooked system. And that's what I was saying before. A crooked system torturing human beings, especially children and women, sexually. Sexual slaves have been found on tunnels underground all over the planet and are being free. They are getting free. I don't know if this mission has finished already. I sense that there is still a lot to uncover about that, but it has been happening. And why would we want to go back to a normal system that has been covering up such torture over humans, over their sexuality, over their bodies and energy? It's inconceivable. It's a system of war, of ambition, of running over the others for money and materialistic ambition. Is that the system that we want to go back, or do we want to take the opportunity now and recreate a new system, which is being recreated no matter what, because the earth is recreating a new earth? But if you are resisting to this change in spiritual and physical level, you're going to go back to your normal somewhere else, unfortunately. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. And this is a lot to take. It's something that has been dividing people, because when you talk about those deep, deep things, people label you as a crazy lunatic and whatever, but we got to the point that nothing can be hidden anymore, and more disclosure is coming pretty soon. I was feeling kind of in a limbo about information for a couple of months, maybe more, like 4 months. And it was kind of like an energetic pause to digest all the change. And now the energy is back, pulling us forward to deeper changes. We still have a couple of months of stormy weather in the planet. And it's going to be so stormy to the point that in August we're going to have to be reconstructing things from a deeper level. And astrologically, we're going through a big astrological storm, diving deep into Pluto. Pluto represents, the planet Pluto represents the unconscious mind, what's been hidden, which is actually coming out to the light. So we're going to be finding things in ourselves and out in the outside that we didn't know it was there. So a lot of disclosure and uncovering, it's about to happen very soon. So take advantage of all of that. Take advantage of the Schumann resonance, which is actually working deep, deep, changing our cells on a physical level to be able to take the new earth vibrations. All of this is so beautiful that we do not have time to waste wondering about the old normal or wondering about taking that thing they want people to take. Because if you take it, you will not take advantage of this awakening. And I know I have people that I love deeply that have already taken it. And I cannot influence, I cannot say, well, I can say, but I cannot mandate that. It's an individual choice. It's a totally individual choice. And we have to respect that, even if it hurts to see people that we thought they were going to make it and they decided not to. Anyway, let's close our eyes right now and connect with the central sun of the galaxy, known as known by the Mayans as Hunabiku, which is our connection to the deep realms of the universe, where we are on this point where our solar system is receiving straight from that the light codes that are allowing us to change deeply. So let's breathe in this light and breathe out any patterns that don't serve us anymore. Let's do it again. Breathe in the new light codes. And breathe out old patterns that don't serve us anymore. One more time, breathe in light codes and breathe out patterns that don't serve us anymore. The word that came to me right now is aloha. Aloha. The old Hawaiian greeting. Aloha to the new earth. Let's celebrate. We're making it happen. And despite of what it looks outside, it might look very chaotic when we're transitioning this last months to come, but center yourself, ask yourself for the reassurance you need to feel you're trilling your choice of the right path for yourself. All right. I really appreciate you guys that are here tonight, and please share this message if you feel that it resonates with people, or if you feel that it might shake somebody. Aye, aye. Yeah. John, again, thank you very much for sending me that email that I didn't have time to answer you, but I answered telepathically. I sent you a message, several messages of thank you, and I have been meditating about Rudolf Steiner's vision, because that is what is happening. And as I said at the beginning of the video, they have been planning that for a long time, and that's why it's possible to have visions of the future, but it doesn't mean necessarily that that is going to be the reality happening for everyone, because everyone has a choice, an individual choice right now. All right. Te agradezco mucho, XXXX. Lo que pasa es que yo ya no he tenido mucho tiempo para hacer videos y tuve que escoger entre inglés y español, pero sí sentí una llamada en hacer un video en español. Yo creo que este video lo tengo que hacer en español. Bueno, be well, my dear companion souls of this journey on earth, and let's move on in happiness and joy. Take advantage of every day you can be taking the sun straight on your body because the sun is the real light right now on this planet that is actually awakening us. It's filtered because we couldn't take the amount of light straight from the central sun of the galaxy right now, so it's filtered, but it gets us through the sun right now. All right. I love you. I love you. And in Lakesh, which means in Maya, I am another you. Namaste. I honor yourself, your higher self, and all of these beautiful things in all the different cultures and languages that you can possibly imagine, that resume in one word, which is love, unconditional love. See you next time.